What if I told you that the most successful people in the world have mastered something that costs absolutely nothing, requires no special equipment, and is available to you right now in this very moment? What if the secret to reducing anxiety, increasing focus, improving relationships, and unlocking your creative potential isn't found in doing more, but in doing less? In a world where we're constantly bombarded with notifications, endless chatter, and the pressure to always be on, we've forgotten one of humanity's most powerful tools: silence. We've been conditioned to believe that silence is emptiness, that it's uncomfortable, even wasteful. But what if silence isn't the absence of something valuable? What if it's the presence of everything we've been searching for? Today, we're diving deep into The Power of Silence by Kelvin W. a book that will completely transform how you think about quiet moments, solitude, and the spaces between words. This isn't just about meditation or finding peace, though you'll discover both. This is about unlocking a superpower that's been hiding in plain sight your entire life. By the end of this video, you'll understand why silence isn't just golden. It's the key to a life of deeper meaning, clearer thinking, and authentic connection. You'll learn practical techniques that you can start using today and discover how the most profound transformations often happen not when we're doing something, but when we're being still. So, turn off your notifications, find a comfortable spot, and let's explore why the most powerful thing you can do right now is nothing at all. Before we dive into the transformative insights, let's talk about Kelvin W. Nathan isn't just another self-help author. He's spent decades studying the intersection of mindfulness, psychology, and personal development. What makes his approach unique is how he bridges ancient wisdom traditions with modern neuroscience, showing us that silence isn't just a spiritual concept. It's a scientifically backed pathway to mental clarity and emotional well-being. In our hyper-connected age, where the average person checks their phone 96 times per day, and we're exposed to more information in a single day than our ancestors encountered in months, Nathan's message isn't just timely. It's essential for survival in the modern world. This book offers a roadmap back to ourselves, using the one resource that's completely free and always available: the power of purposeful silence. Chapter 1. The Crisis of Constant Noise. Have you ever noticed that we live in a world that's afraid of silence? Think about it. We fill every moment with something. Music in elevators, background TV while we work, podcasts while we walk, endless scrolling through social media. When was the last time you sat in complete silence for even 5 minutes without reaching for your phone or turning something on? Nathan starts by confronting us with an uncomfortable truth. We've created a society that's addicted to noise, and this addiction is slowly destroying our ability to think clearly, connect deeply, and find genuine happiness. Here's what constant noise is doing to your brain. Every time you're exposed to information, whether it's a news headline, a text message, or background chatter, your brain has to process it. This creates what Nathan calls cognitive overflow. Imagine your mind as a computer with too many programs running at once. Eventually it slows down, crashes, or starts making errors. Research shows that our brains need silence to consolidate memories, process emotions, and generate creative insights. When we deny ourselves this silence, we're literally preventing our minds from operating at full capacity. But here's the deeper issue Nathan identifies. We use noise as an escape. We're afraid of what we might discover in the quiet. Our real thoughts, unprocessed emotions, or uncomfortable truths about our lives. So, we keep the volume up and the distractions coming. Your action step. For the next 24 hours, notice how often you fill silence with something. Music, TV, checking your phone. Just notice. Don't judge. Awareness is the first step to change. The crisis isn't just personal. It's cultural. We've built a world that rewards constant activity and punishes stillness. But as you're about to discover, the people who learn to embrace silence aren't falling behind. They're getting ahead. Chapter 2. The Science of Silence. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds nice in theory, but does silence actually do anything measurable? Nathan dedicates an entire section to the hard science, and the results will blow your mind. Let's start with your brain on silence. When you sit in quiet stillness, something remarkable happens. Your brain doesn't shut down. It shifts into what neuroscientists call the default mode network. This is your brain's screensaver mode, and it's when some of the most important mental work happens. During silence, your brain consolidates memories from short-term to long-term storage, makes connections between seemingly unrelated ideas, hello, creativity, processes and integrates emotional experiences, generates insights and aha moments, literally grows new neural pathways. Here's a study that will change how you think about quiet time. Researchers found that just 2 minutes of silence was more relaxing than listening to relaxing music. Participants' blood pressure dropped, stress hormones decreased, and brain activity shifted into a restorative state. But it gets even better. Another study tracked people who practiced regular silence for just 8 weeks. The results? Increased gray matter in areas of the brain associated with memory, emotional regulation, and self-awareness. Decreased activity in the amygdala, the brain's alarm system that triggers anxiety and stress. Nathan explains that silence literally rewires your brain for success. When you give your mind space to breathe, it doesn't become lazy. It becomes more efficient, more creative, and more resilient. Think of silence like sleep for your conscious mind. Just as your body needs rest to repair and strengthen itself, your mind needs quiet to process, organize, and optimize itself. Your action step. Tonight, before you go to sleep, spend 5 minutes in complete silence. No music, no TV, no phones. Just sit quietly and notice what happens in your mind. Don't try to control your thoughts. Just observe them, like clouds passing in the sky. The science is clear. Silence isn't just peaceful, it's powerful. And we're just getting started. Chapter 3. The Art of Listening. Here's a question that might sting a little. When was the last time you truly listened to someone? Not just waited for your turn to talk, not just heard the words while thinking about your response, but actually listened with your full attention. Nathan reveals something profound. Most of us have forgotten how to listen, and this inability is destroying our relationships, limiting our learning, and cutting us off from opportunities that are right in front of us. Real listening, according to Nathan, isn't just about being quiet while someone else talks. It's about creating a space of silence within yourself, a quiet, receptive state where you can truly receive what another person is offering. Think about the most meaningful conversations you've ever had. I'll bet they weren't the ones where someone talked the most, but the ones where someone listened the most, where you felt truly heard and understood. Nathan introduces the concept of listening with your whole being. This means silencing your internal commentary and judgment, putting down the need to have an immediate response, creating space for the other person's truth to emerge. Listening not just to words, but to emotions, energy, and what's not being said. Here's what happens when you master this skill. People start opening up to you in ways they never have before. You begin to pick up on subtleties and nuances that others miss. You become the kind of person others seek out when they need to be understood. But here's the deeper layer. When you learn to listen deeply to others, you also learn to listen deeply to yourself. You start hearing your own inner wisdom, your authentic desires, your true needs, not just the noise of societal expectations and external pressures. Your action step. In your next conversation, whether it's with a family member, friend, or colleague, practice what Nathan calls the pause. Before you respond to anything they say, take a silent breath. Let their words settle. Then speak from that place of stillness rather than reaction. Nathan shares a powerful story about a CEO who transformed her entire company culture simply by learning to listen better. In meetings, instead of immediately jumping in with solutions, she started asking questions and creating silent space for others to think and respond. Within months, employee engagement soared, innovation increased, and profits followed. The art of listening isn't just about becoming a better communicator. It's about becoming a better human being. And it all starts with the willingness to be silent and make space for others. Chapter 4. Silence as a creativity catalyst. What if I told you that your next breakthrough idea, your most creative solution, or your most inspired moment is waiting for you right now in the silence? Nathan dedicates a powerful chapter to something that will revolutionize how you approach creativity and problem solving. Here's what most people don't understand about creativity. It doesn't come from thinking harder. It comes from thinking less. The greatest insights throughout history haven't come from forcing solutions, but from creating space for solutions to emerge. Nathan tells the story of Lin-Manuel Miranda, creator of Hamilton. Miranda didn't come up with the idea for his groundbreaking musical while brainstorming or researching. It came to him while he was reading a book on vacation, in a moment of relaxed, open awareness. This is what Nathan calls creative silence, the fertile emptiness from which new ideas are born. Your brain has two modes, focused mode and diffuse mode. Focused mode is when you're actively working on a problem, analyzing, trying to figure things out. Diffuse mode is when you step back, relax, and let your mind wander. Here's the key insight. Breakthrough ideas almost always come during diffuse mode. Think about your own experience. When do you get your best ideas? Probably in the shower, on walks, right before falling asleep, or during other quiet, relaxed moments. That's no coincidence. That's your creative silence at work. Nathan introduces practical techniques for harnessing this power. The creative pause. When you're stuck on a problem, instead of pushing harder, take a deliberate break. Sit in silence for 5 to 10 minutes. Don't try to solve anything. Just be present and open. Morning silence. Before you check your phone, read emails, or consume any information, spend 10 to 15 minutes in quiet reflection. This primes your mind for creative thinking throughout the day. Walk without distractions. Take regular walks without music, podcasts, or phone calls. Let your mind wander freely in the silence. Your action step: the next time you're facing a challenge or looking for a creative solution, try Nathan's silence first approach. Before you Google, brainstorm, or ask for advice, spend 10 minutes in complete silence focusing on the question. Then let it go and see what emerges. The most successful innovators and creators throughout history have understood this secret. Creativity isn't about filling the void. It's about embracing it. In the silence, your mind can make the connections and generate the insights that your busy, noisy thinking could never produce. Chapter 5. The Relationship Revolution. What if the secret to deeper, more meaningful relationships isn't saying the right things, but knowing when to say nothing at all? Nathan reveals how silence can transform every relationship in your life, from romantic partnerships to friendships to family connections. Most relationship problems aren't caused by communication. They're caused by over-communication. We talk past each other. We react instead of respond, and we fill every moment with words when what's really needed is presence. Nathan introduces the concept of companion silence, the ability to be fully present with another person without needing to fill the space with words. This isn't awkward silence or uncomfortable quiet. This is the profound intimacy that comes from simply being together in a state of mutual presence. Think about the people you feel most connected to. I bet you can sit in comfortable silence with them. That's not because you have nothing to say. It's because you have nothing to prove. You can just be yourselves together. Here's what happens when you bring more intentional silence into your relationships with your partner. Instead of always trying to solve, fix, or respond, sometimes the most loving thing you can do is simply be present with your partner's experience. Nathan shares how couples who practice silent presence, just sitting together quietly for 10 to 15 minutes each day, report feeling more connected and understood than couples who talk constantly but never really listen. With your children. Kids today are growing up in a world of constant stimulation. When you create pockets of silence with your children, car rides without music, walks without conversation, quiet time before bed, you're giving them something precious, the space to discover their own thoughts and feelings. With friends. The deepest friendships aren't built on constant chatter, but on shared presence. Nathan talks about the Japanese concept of mokusatsu, the eloquence of silence between friends who understand each other so deeply that words become unnecessary. But here's the deeper insight. When you become comfortable with silence in relationships, you stop trying to control or manipulate through words. You start trusting the natural flow of connection. You become less reactive and more responsive. Your action step. Tonight, try this with someone you care about. Instead of filling the evening with conversation, activities, or distractions, suggest spending 15 to 20 minutes in quiet companionship. Maybe sit on the porch together, lie on the grass and look at stars, or simply sit together with tea. Don't make it weird or formal. Just create space for shared silence. Nathan shares a beautiful story about an elderly couple married for 50 years. When asked about the secret to their lasting love, the wife said, "We learned early on that we didn't need to fill every moment with words. Some of our most intimate moments have been spent in complete silence, just enjoying being alive together." Silence in relationships isn't about having nothing to say. It's about being so comfortable with someone that you don't need to say anything at all. Chapter 6, Practical Silence Techniques. Now comes the part you've been waiting for. How do you actually do this? Nathan provides a toolkit of practical techniques that anyone can use, regardless of experience or lifestyle. These aren't complex meditation practices that require years to master. They're simple, accessible ways to bring more purposeful silence into your daily life. The micro-silence technique. Start with just 60 seconds of intentional silence 3 times per day, morning, afternoon, and evening. Set a gentle timer, close your eyes, and simply be present. Don't try to achieve anything. Just practice being still. The silence bell. Use your phone to create random silence alerts throughout the day. When it goes off, wherever you are, take 3 deep breaths in complete silence. This helps break the pattern of constant mental noise. The morning sanctuary. Before you check your phone, read emails, or consume any information, create a 10 to 15-minute silence ritual. This could be sitting with coffee, looking out the window, or simply lying in bed in quiet awareness. The evening reflection. End each day with 5 to 10 minutes of silent reflection. Don't journal, don't analyze, just sit quietly and let the day settle in your mind. The walking meditation. Take a 10 to 15-minute walk without any audio input. No music, no podcasts, no phone calls. Let your mind wander while your body moves. The conversation pause. In every conversation, practice taking a brief pause before responding. This tiny moment of silence can transform the quality of your interactions. Your action step. Choose just one of these techniques and commit to practicing it for the next 7 days. Don't try to do them all. That defeats the purpose. Pick the one that feels most doable for your lifestyle and make it a non-negotiable part of your day. Nathan emphasizes that the goal isn't to become a monk or spend hours in meditation. The goal is to create small islands of silence in your sea of noise. These moments of quiet are like vitamins for your mind. Small doses taken regularly can have profound cumulative effects. Remember, this isn't about perfection. Your mind will wander. You'll get distracted. You might feel restless or uncomfortable at first. That's completely normal. Nathan reminds us that the practice isn't about achieving a particular state. It's about creating the habit of returning to stillness. The most important thing is consistency over duration. 5 minutes of silence every day is infinitely more valuable than 1 hour of silence once a week. Your silent transformation. As we come to the end of our journey through the power of silence, I want you to imagine something. Imagine a version of yourself who has mastered this ancient art. Someone who moves through the world with a deep sense of calm and clarity. Someone who listens deeply, thinks creatively, and connects authentically. Someone who has found the secret to inner peace in the midst of external chaos. That person isn't a fantasy. That person is you, waiting to emerge from beneath the layers of noise and distraction that have been covering your true nature. Kelvin Nathan's message is ultimately about coming home to yourself. In a world that constantly demands your attention, your energy, and your voice, choosing silence is a radical act of self-love. It's saying, I am worth more than the sum of my productivity, my achievements, or my ability to entertain others. I am valuable simply for being alive. The path forward is both simple and challenging. Simple because silence costs nothing and requires no special equipment. challenging because everything in our culture will resist this practice. Your phone will buzz, your mind will resist. Others might not understand why you're choosing quiet over noise. But here's what I know from studying the lives of extraordinary people. They all have one thing in common. They've learned to find stillness within themselves, regardless of what's happening around them. They've discovered that their greatest power doesn't come from what they do. It comes from who they are when they're not doing anything at all. Your transformation begins with your next breath, your next moment of chosen stillness, your next pause before reacting, your next decision to listen instead of speak. The power of silence isn't just about finding peace, though you'll find more peace than you ever imagined. It's not just about reducing stress, though your stress will melt away. It's about discovering the most authentic, creative, connected version of yourself that's been waiting patiently beneath all the noise. If you found this summary helpful, imagine what applying just one of these lessons could do for your life. What would change if you gave yourself permission to be still? What insights are waiting for you in the silence? What relationships could deepen? What creativity could emerge? The most powerful transformation you'll ever experience might not come from adding something to your life. It might come from subtracting everything that's preventing you from hearing your own inner wisdom. Your silence is your superpower. It's time to claim it.